And here I say, we look at the church facing and experiencing her first cruel persecution. What are we to do? We have nothing to do but to go back and to imitate and to emulate the example of these first great servants of God who were raised up in the Christian church. What did they do? Well, let's look at the story. Will you forgive me? I wonder if I remind you for a few brief moments of what they didn't do. And I believe, my friends, that that's very important at the present time. I believe one of the first things the church has to learn today is what not to do. Look at these two men, Peter and John. There they are outside. What are they going to do? What can be done in this desperate situation? Well, it's very interesting to observe that they didn't turn to one another and say something like this. Well, now here we are. We're in terrible trouble. And of course we're in trouble because we were a little bit too precipitate. We rushed into it. We didn't take time. We bombarded the people. We should have used a little diplomacy. We should have got at it a little bit more quietly. We should have gradually insinuated our message, and then we wouldn't have caused this upheaval. We've been much too brusque about it all. We've been too violent. Let's lie low for a while. Let the commotion die down, and then, when everything's all right again, let's start once more. But go at it with a little more diplomacy this time, and then no doubt we shall succeed. Oh, there's not a suggestion of that here. You don't find things like that in the New Testament, in the book of the Acts of the Apostles. There's no worldly wisdom here. No, they didn't do that. Neither do I find the one turning to the other and saying something like this. Well, now, it's quite clear to me that we rarely have roused these people in this opposition because of our preaching of the resurrection. That was what they preached. They preached Jesus and the resurrection. And the Sadducees didn't believe in resurrection. The authorities didn't like that message. I don't find one of these men turning to the other and saying, well, now, the mistake we've made is to give such prominence to this resurrection. They don't like that. It's offensive to them. We must start again. And this time we must preach a message which is innocuous. No resurrection, no miracles. We mustn't say things that people don't like. Then we won't rouse their opposition. Everybody will like us and everybody will praise us, and the church will succeed. It's an insult to the memory of the apostles to suggest that such a thought even ever entered into their minds at all. No. But that's what we've done. The church has been clever in this century. She said the modern scientific man doesn't believe in miracles. Well, don't talk about miracles. He doesn't believe in the literal physical resurrection. Say nothing about it. But you know, they didn't do things like that in the days of the Acts of the Apostles. And they've never done things like that in days of Reformation and of revival, in the eras of the power of the Christian church. No. Neither do we find them turning to one another and saying, well, we've tried and we've obviously done it in the wrong way. We'd better start again and we'd better call in some advice from the world. Let's ask the businessmen how they succeed. What kind of propaganda can we use? What methods can we employ that will be successful and that will appeal to the people? Again, I say, there is no such suggestion here anywhere. No. They didn't do anything like that. What did they do? Well, here is what they did. And being let go, they went into their own company and reported all that the chief priests and elders had said unto them. Now, this is the most important point. You notice that when the two apostles were set at liberty, they went to their own company, which means that they went to the church. They went to all the Christians who were gathering together. I mean by that they didn't call a meeting of the apostolate. They didn't call a meeting only of the other apostles and have a conference of apostles to decide what to do. No. They went to their own company. They went back to the church. They went to the ordinary church members, and they reported all that the chief priests and the elders had done unto them. My dear friends, this is a tremendously important thing, it seems to me. Haven't you detected a tendency today for people to think that the church consists only of a number of church dignitaries? who traveled round the world from conference to conference, and that the problem of the church and of the world today is only a problem for just a handful of people, and all the attention that is given, and the rest feel, well, we are nobodies, we are just ordinary church members. This has nothing at all to do with us. It's a problem for these great leaders and ecclesiastics. I'm not here to say anything derogatory of such men, but I am here to say that that isn't how they behaved in the days of the Acts of the Apostles. They went to their own company. They reported it to all the members of the church. Why? Well, for this good reason. You never know in the Christian church whom God is going to use. You never know where God is going to send forth His power. You've never heard of a revival starting in a cathedral. You've never heard of a great movement of the Spirit of God coming from some great dignitaries. My dear friends, it's amongst the common people that things happen. Read the stories of the great revivals in the history of the church, and you'll generally find God has laid His hand upon some unknown man. Nobody'd ever heard of him, and he lived in some little hamlet, not in a great city, but in some unknown little village or hamlet, and God suddenly lays hold of him, fills him with power, and uses him to rouse a moribund church. My message, therefore, is this. The condition of the church and of the world today is a problem for every one of us. It isn't only a problem for preachers. It isn't only a problem for church dignitaries. It's your problem, my friend. Are you concerned about the state of the church? It's my privilege here this morning to do in my little way what these apostles did. I bring the report back to you. You see the state of the church. You see her dwindling influence. You see the lack of spiritual power. You see the state of the world. It's your problem. They went into their own company. Are you concerned about these things? Do you pray about these things? Do you pray that God may intervene? Is this a burden to you? Well, the apostles, I say, took this matter back to their own company and laid it all open before them. And then what happened? Well, here is the significant thing. And when they heard that, they lifted up their voice to God with one accord and said. Now there's the response of the infant church, the early church.